Hey there, Overlanders. This is Rick from Left Coast Overland. Just doing a little touring around in the Grenadier, down the Otways. If you check out some of my other posts, you'll see some beautiful waterfalls and places that I've hiked in and out of. Campsite action. But I just wanted to do a quick tutorial on the axle lockers for this truck. This will be geared towards Grenadier owners or people that are interested in potentially purchasing a Grenadier. I'll say that the axle locking feature is finicky at best. Even the transfer case I feel is a little bit finicky. I'm just on like a gravel dirt road, what I would call a fire road. It's basically a highway in the mountains, but still has limited traction. So it's a fine place to test out these systems so that you can ensure that they work when you need them the most, right? When you're actually out there in the real slick and steep stuff. So what I'll do is I'll flip the camera back over and I'll show you what the sequencing is to get the axle locks to engage. All right, so I'm in manual mode. I'm gonna switch it back to drive and then put it back into neutral. I'm actually in low, but not low locked. So if you look at the cluster up front, shows you just the L, but no lock feature, right? So what I'll do is I'm going to take it up and out of that and I'll just cycle it through. I got high lock, now low lock. So remember what I said, finicky. You probably saw how much force was required to get that shifter engaged, but now I'm showing center differential locked, low range. All right, so let's give it a little drive, make sure it's all engaged. Couple of turns of the steering wheel, feels like it's all right. Okay, there it goes. It kind of had to think about it. You saw a little warning triangle and a couple of chimes. Sometimes it does that. Again, finicky, right? So the Grenadier is heavily reliant on these electrical systems for the mechanical things like the transfer case engagement, but there's sensors in there and it can be a little bit wonky, and time it's not immediate, right? So it's a bit time consuming, I guess would be how I would describe it. So we're in low range, we're still in drive, and I'm just gonna engage the rear differential locker. So push the button for a few seconds, starting to get a light. All right, starting to get some chimes. Okay, let's push it one more time to confirm. Okay, and then give it a little drive forward. Let's see if it locks up. It's still blinking at me. I did this a little earlier today to test it out, and it wasn't super happy. Let's give it another. There we are. All right, so it's a slow blink. Let's try it. Okay, solid light. Perfect. So that means that the rear axle is now engaged, and the telltale up front, we got center diff, rear diff, both locked, okay? And I can feel it. It's a little bit more, I guess, sluggish. And then let's do front diff lock, okay? So we got some slow blinks. Let's give it a drive forward. All right, cool, it locked up. All right, so we got all three on the tree locked up, real sluggish on the steering. And I'm not going fast, I'm just doing a couple Ks just for demonstration purposes. As you can see, the road conditions don't warrant locking differentials, but I wanted to exercise everything, like I said, and make sure that it all works properly and how I practice with the engagement and disengagement of these things. All right, so let's go with a disengaging. Let's go front locker first, disengage. Okay, it's giving me some blinks. And then this is kind of the tricky part. It starts to really take a moment for everything to kind of disengage all of itself. So it has wheel speed sensors, and in the manual, it recommends driving at a slow speed and turning the wheel left and right. So this is still giving me high-paced blinking. Let's do this rear locker. Let's try and turn it off. And I had this going on for a while earlier today when I tested it. Yeah, it's not even coming out on the screen yet. It still feels like it's engaged. So what I'm gonna do to ensure that everything is disengaged on the screen, it says that, or on the manual, it says that if you completely disengage the lock on the transfer case, then it will automatically disengage front and rear differentials. So let's give that a try. Okay, so I took it out of lock. Now we're just in normal high range, and they're still blinking at me. So let's give it some turns. So again, rather finicky because of that high reliance on the electronical components for all the sensors. I can feel that the front has disengaged. The steering is a lot less sloppy, but it's still showing me that the ABS and ESC are off, and the truck still thinks that the lockers are engaged. So, and I can feel that we're getting a little bit faster. Let's see if it'll kick in the second gear coming up the hill. And you can see that it's taken quite a long time for the system to recognize that the lockers are no longer engaged. So Ineos, if you have some recommendations on how to make this system faster, I guess, maybe needs recalibration in the software package, I'm not quite sure. Do a little bit of driving on some softer stuff. Okay, let's push a couple buttons and see if that gets it disengaged some more. Okay, so now it's honking at me. Okay, now it's telling me everything's blinking. I ended up turning the truck off earlier today when I was testing all these systems out and just letting it sit until the computer rebooted. So with it being an e-locker, oh, there it goes. Everything turned off. With it being an e-locker, turning the car off and letting the system reboot for 5 minutes or less, maybe 3 minutes, it will automatically disengage as well. All right, guys, so that's the system. It's working pretty well. You just have to test these things out in calm conditions with no stress, and that way when it comes to game time, you've got everything all squared away and you're ready to bring all the toys to the table. If you have any questions, go ahead and post down below, and let me know if you have a Grenadier and you're running into any issues, or if the locking sequence is similar or exactly the same for your truck as well. All right, guys, thanks for watching. We'll chat with you next time.